making barracks because I'm not confident going for a factory. Okay, so how late was that reactor? Was that reactor at least one full reactor late? Let's find out. So a reactor takes 36 seconds to build. The Reaper, by the way, everybody take notes of this. The Reaper usually finishes around 2 minutes. Give or take a few seconds, depending on gas first or not. So just assume the Reaper's finishing at 2 minutes. For other races, other notable timings, Zergling speed finishes usually around 330 to 340 with normal openers. So your Reaper finished at 202. You get your reactor. Da-da-da-ding. A full reactor's build time late. I think I donated almost $500 today. It's 95 today, but total.
Yes, just as I deserve.
Hey, boss.
But is it enough to look at this shit overall? Well, okay, well, we're not going into the history books right now. We're wondering why your reactor is a reactor late.
Our SCVs are under attack.
Like, there's no reason. If you're going to build a reactor and then you just don't, let me go ahead and fill you in. That's bad. Okay, so here's a first... Oh god, it's a fucking disaster. So what this is advanced gold plate. Are we sure this isn't a queen, by the way? That looks like a flying queen. Does it not? I don't know what the hell it is, but it looks like a flying queen. Anyways. So, like, this is the... I built 3 racks because I already forgot my plan after the first barracks. Like, you built a barracks and then you're like... I gotta... So here's the problem. I know what happened. I do this on rare occasion. I see players do this. Because you're in the one position where your add-on actually blocks, you forgot to build a depot. Which is hilarious. But you can see why. But you can't, like, on the bright side, you won't be supply blocked that long because your command center's finished. Thank you, King County. And Camp Undead, I see you. Okay, so here's the big mistake. You're looking at what your opponent is doing. You're microing your Reaper. Until Diamond 1, your Reaper is a goddamn photographer. Because every single second you spend doing anything with your Reaper is a second that I can pretty much guarantee you're gonna not spend doing anything else. So we see here, it's hard. It's hard, like, because you're only mining 1,000 minerals per minute. It's difficult to get all the way up to 1,000 minerals in 3 minutes, but you've managed to, for a full third of a 3-minute game, essentially not do jack fucking shit besides kill a Zergling and a half. And, I don't know, you tell me, is that Zergling and a half going to be more important than, say, getting all of your add-ons, half a dozen more SCVs, not being supply block, building a second orbital, getting another mule, starting your factory? I don't know, it could. You don't know. Could be really good Zerglings. You never know. This is where you lose the game, by the way. And this is... I coined this... I guess didn't really coin it, but it's a more concise way to say it. Not all Metal League games. High Bronze, Low Plat, which is where we are right now. The Low Plat side. Not all Metal League games are decided in the first 5 minutes, but almost all Metal League games can be. If you're playing a true Platinum League game and you nail your build, you're going to put yourself in a position where it's very hard to fail. Like, if you get the first 5 minutes down pretty close to on point, like not perfect, but close, then I'd say it's hard from that point to throw the game. Because 1, you're already in a mindset where you're actually building fucking units, and 2, you've set yourself up in a way that even if you do forget to build units for a while, you can do something.
Yes.
Thank you, J-Boy.
As I deserve.
So, essentially, what I'm trying to say is, you probably shouldn't even build a Reaper, because this Reaper has ruined your whole game. This Reaper here, it's gotten 1 kill. It should really have 2, because it's also killed you. I'm sure this game is not 2 minutes long. Yeah, of course not.
You are now in my
5 minutes, rather. But
Complete.
Metal League games, the vast majority, I'm going to say 90% of the time, are not decided in the first 5 minutes, but they can be. Alright? Like, all this stuff you're doing right now, all this, like, now it's macro time, this literally could have just happened a minute ago. You just sat around jerking off your Reaper, trying to get kills, like, you're playing Counter-Strike or something.
Complete.
Here's the problem. It literally doesn't matter what he's doing. You might be like, what if he's making a bunch of roaches? Well, because you spent so much goddamn time on your Reaper, you're not going to have anything to defend the roaches even if you see them coming. So this scouting has essentially, it made you feel safer by making you less safe.
Add-on complete.
Like, he could easily, if he learned how to spend his money, which he didn't because this is platinum, have like 9 roaches coming across the map right now. What are you going to have? 6 Marines. Of course, he's, now let me just, the mind of a Platinum Zerg. He is 100% laser focused on this Overlord, right? His name is You Forgot to Die. He's just started puberty and he's very confused. Alright, let's take a look. I just want to give you an example of what you're playing against. This is a evenly matched opponent for you. Just take a look. This is the opponent who is, by the matchmaking system, which is pretty solid, about 50-50 with you. That's your opponent. Nothing in production, but what I assume is going to happen now for you, is you're going to, because you've got the turn-based gaming going on. Let's just, I've seen a lot of people get annoyed at how often I pause the game on Angry Coaches, on YouTube comments, so I'd like to take this moment to say, fuck you, but this is definitely a time when we can just kind of see what happens, because eventually we're going to get to the point where we get to the micro turn and then the macro turn.
Field depleted.
Armed and ready. This better be good. Want some?
Research complete.
If this was a PvE game, you'd be so good. Like, honestly, this Reaper has hurt you more than helped you. So much. Every time you try to look at this Reaper, everything goes to shit. No SCV production, no third base, we forgot upgrades existed, barely any Marines, like, no depots. It's like, you know what? Fuck it, just build a reactor first. Build a reactor first for 10 games, and if you can do that, maybe you can go back to the Reaper. Thank you, Pooh, hey, gifting to the freeloaders. But no more. Get this Reaper out of here. This Reaper is screwing you over. Like, what did you see? Tell me right now. You just scouted the whole base. You scouted a lair. What does this change? Does this change anything? He got greedy? And how you gonna punish it? With no unit. It's really not that greedy, because 6 minutes into the game, he could be looking at maxing out with that many workers, but once again, we're in Platinum. So we got greedy. So the best move would be to build up a good army, and once you get like stim and combat shields and +1/+1 finish, move out and attack. On the downside, what we don't have is free supply, any upgrades, or combat shields. But besides that, good thing we got that scouting information so we can really use it to further our gameplay.
Additional
Go, go, go! Who wants some?
additional
Ready for dust off.
You see, this is the difference between spending your money and not. You eventually spend your money, therefore you're ahead 20 supply.
additional supply depots
He's struggling to do
required.
anything.
Additional supply depots required.
Ready for dust off.
So essentially,
You are now
a
in
solid.
my
You're doing a
service.
solid Terran build right now. You're like a cable TV program. Okay, like you're on whatever people used to watch. I don't know, the Sci-Fi Channel, but spelled like this because it wants to hurt people's brains. So you have some interesting B-tier sci-fi series, pretty much anything that's not The Expanse, which is no longer on Sci-Fi, thankfully. But a B-tier sci-fi series, you're getting into it. there's like space battles and marines, and then it's time for a fucking 3-minute commercial break. And that's like your build, except instead of the space battles and exciting sci-fi bullshit, it's the opposite. So your macro happens, like the exciting part is the macro part. And then for 3 minutes, while you go pretend to be able to micro on the other side of the map, everything stops. Like we just got to take a breather. I don't know. So essentially, your production just goes on commercial break for the amount of time it takes you to attack. I'm sure it won't take you long to lose all these units.
Mineral field depleted.
I'm sorry, 1 second. We're going to pause this real quick for a commercial break, everyone. I'll be right back. Everybody shut down production. Shut it down. All right, thank you. Be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to tell you about all the exciting benefits of subscribing with Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime. It'll be everything you ever wanted in your life and more. You have dreams? You have memes? You no longer want them to be dreams? Or vice versa? Subscribe with Twitch Prime. If you want to feel like you're supporting esports via giving me money, and why wouldn't you? Subscribe with Twitch Prime. But if you subscribe with Twitch Prime, everything you've ever wanted in life will come true. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. All right, back. Let's see. Is the commercial break over? We've been in the game. Hey, gimmick. Okay. We've been in the game. Has anything happened? No. Okay. All right. Can we start the production back up now? All right. Because the attack's been going on. He microed his way. He stutter step microed against some larva just to fill you in on what we missed during the break. Alright, looks like we're back to some production. A little bit. You know what would be crazy? One, if you expanded here, it's like, oh, there are mineral walls that have 10 minerals in them and you could take down easily. Combat shields, armory, more than 3 barracks, but at least you built units, so... This guy's like, okay, wait a second. This game doesn't end for 8 more minutes. He's rushing Broodlords. Oh my god. Where is it? Find it! Jimmy! Find that other meme we're on. Like, we're just gonna keep pausing the game till I find all the memes. Where are my memes? Where is... I have it. It's somewhere. Alright. It's this. Alright. So, pretty much this. Here we go again. But can you get past the gate? Probably not. We'll see.
Ready for dust off.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess you kill... Well, there are the reinforcements. Jesus Christ. Oh, you did build more than 5 racks. You just haven't built combat shields, upgrades, or SCVs for this entire time. Okay, so we're gonna break down the math. So, let's just do it. Like, you got 1, 1. Now, but now, because 2, 2, like, that's still 2 numbers. 1, 1 is 2 numbers, 2, 2 is 2 numbers. But, let me break it down for you. Just in case, like, you might not realize this. Okay, here's 1, 1. But wait. 2, 2. Okay. I know, let's not get crazy. Look at how many more that is. Like, that's like way more. So. There you go.
Ready to roll out. SCV ready.
Command.
Go, go, go.
If only there were an easier way to scout. Unfortunately. was very nice of him to just kind of get. He attacked with only broodlords? Okay. Oh, there was no armory. I see you have also walled off all of your siege tanks, good sir. A gentleman and a scholar, much like myself.
This better be good.
Combat shields is like... Getting combat shields increases your win rate by like 25%. Wait, what? Why are there still 5 minutes in this game?
Ready.
Why are you building sensor towers? This is confusing me more than anything else.
Add on.
Armed and ready.
I just had fun destroying his base. That's why you're putting up sensor towers? You don't have to watch anymore? No, this is the most important part to watch.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Mineral field.
Ready to plunder.
Mineral field upgrade.
I like how you've done all this. You've gotten everything. There's no pressure. Still no combat shields. Like, you built more sensor towers and depots over 200 supply. Still no combat shield.
Upgrade complete.
3-3. No combat shield.
Completed.
Combat shield is better than every armor upgrade combined. It's at least 2 armor upgrades. It doesn't matter which 2. I don't think it's better than all 3 combined. But it's close.
Mineral field depleted.
So, it's 2019. Can we stop taking commercial breaks and also stop building a Reaper? Because your Reaper successfully... I'm pretty sure building a Reaper is keeping you out of the Diamond League. Like, if you just didn't build a Reaper, you might feel unsafe. So that way you might feel like you need to build units. Which is good. It's a B. I give it a B. No more Reapers. I'm not saying the Reaper is a bad idea. I'm saying you obviously need to worry about more about yourself and need to worry about your opponent. Because the Reaper distracted you more than it gave you information or any... Like, if you can't build anything while a Reaper is spending... I'm trying to come up with a clever way to say it. There's no clever way to say it. Like, you're just staring at the Reaper doing nothing. That's bad. Like, more Terran. Cap Undead. Diamond Terran. We're upgrading a league. This time it's going to be Terran versus Protoss. What's the biggest thing to get from Plat to Diamond? I think the biggest thing for Terrans, from pretty much Gold through Diamond, up to Gold, it's essentially just building the right units and spending your money. But from Platinum, Diamond, and Masters, the biggest issue is production timing and upgrades. Because most players kind of have an idea of what they want to build, and will eventually get to that unit composition like Marine, Tank, Viking Liberator, whatever. But they take way too long to do it. Getting Barracks 2 and 3, I'm going to give you very general. By the time, the problem is I like to tie. What I like to do, I don't do build orders like 12 supply, 14 supply, 17 supply. I like to tie in as many things as possible so that they have, instead of like, I don't know, fucking 27 starport or whatever. What I like to do is I like to have them all anchor each other for a build. For example, here are some very basic examples. Like 30 CV barracks plus 2 Rex or 3rd. Okay, we're going to need to be a little smaller on this, Jimmy. Alright, smaller brush. I'm going to tie it all together because we're about to do another Terran. So, 30 SCV, 2 Rex, plus 2 Rex, or 3rd CC. And then either you go this direction or go that direction. But anchored on that, after that is 2 NG bays. Alright. anchored on that is the next round, which is 2 NG bays. It is a second Raven, because you're already building a Raven at this point. Like, this is a TVT build I'm kind of working off of. But that kind of, either it comes out there, it can maybe go before, you can maybe go to here, but these are all working on, like, these are all things I want to get, and they should be happening around the same time, but they're like different tiers, because you don't go 2 NG bays and 3rd CC, usually, unless you want to die. But these are all things I want, but it all relies, probes and pylons, essentially. If you're not, workers are the most important thing, partially because, what am I saying? I zoned out. Workers are the most important thing because you need to be building. They should be the most stable thing in your economy. You should always be building workers. There are very few exceptions. Even if workers die, you can still use all these things. Timings might not work if you get cheesed, like you lose 5-8 SCVs to Reapers. Or if they do, like, you have to defend early, like you build bunkers or something. At some point, you will get to 30 SCVs, and you will have 2 CCs. So, if you have these things, then you know to get these things. If you're not building workers reliably, that's your first problem. Alright? That's your first problem. Like, you need to build workers. That's what it all comes out of. But 30 SCVs, give or take 30 to... This is really 30 to 40, by the way. 30 is not like 2 more racks. But 30 to 40 SCVs, once you're building that on a regular basis, once you can do all these things on a regular basis, then you can add on 2 NG bays, or 2 more racks, or maybe stim, or reactored starport or something. These are not necessarily disconnected. Like, sometimes you get 2 more racks, which goes along with the reactored starport. But the idea is they all pull on one another, but because they're all tied by a bunch of different things, even if one fucking thing goes wrong, like, I don't know, you get cheesed, you lose some workers, well, you can just rebuild. If you lose your Ravens, well, guess what? You can go into stim, or you can get the 3rd CC and 2 NG bays. Like, you got so many things. This is more complicated. This looks more complicated than it is. The simple version is you have fallbacks. You have fallbacks, so that way, if shit goes wrong, you don't just have your one metric, but you got 3 or 4 or 5 other metrics to fall back on, so that way you don't fucking panic. Because what happens, some of you guys on both sides panic because there's a Reaper. The Terran player panics is like, well, I gotta fucking scout with this Reaper now. No, you don't. Because you're not doing anything at home. Or the Zerg player's like, oh my god, there's a Reaper, stop everything. I need 14 lings. No, you don't. Alright. That's the most obvious example. Anyways, moving on. Diamond
Kick
Terran.
some ass, will you?
Shut the fuck up, Tigers.
SCV ready.
Oh, where's it from? I forgot. Which banner did he have? Was it the new one?
SCV ready.
No, I think that's not what he's asking. What did mine?
Get your phone ready. SCV ready.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the advanced one now. So here's the general. Here's the general timing. If everything goes right, because you've got your everything's gone right. Let's say we're 6 minutes in. Now I start thinking about the other races. Because we're up against Protoss. I'm just gonna pretend we're in like Masters GM. We're not in Diamond. Alright? Because if we pretend and we nail it, then we won't be Diamond for long, right? So generally, a Protoss, their warp gate finishes around 4:30, give or take. I might be off by like 15 seconds, but around 4:30. So around 4:30 is when you're first going to be threatened by warp gate units. So if you see a Robo or a Twilight, if you do make a Reaper, which in Masters we usually do, then 4:30 is essentially the earliest you can be pressured. Maybe with a Warp Prism, something like that. So you don't need to be panicking, maybe a couple Stalkers. But there are 2 branches. I'm thinking about the Protoss branches. Like if they go Blink, then either it's a 3rd at 4:30 to 5, or Tech Up. So that means at around, say, 5 minutes, that's when I'm doing everything. Like, I literally, the first scout is what tech are you going for? Like Robo or Twilight? So the first scout is say around 230. So what tech? And then at around 5 minutes, does he have a third? If he doesn't have a third, I don't feel like I'm obligated to put together a timing. I might take my own third. If he does have a third, and I haven't lost a bunch of tanks or anything, then maybe I put together an attack and I go for his base. But there are two options. You can have a build that somewhat does it all. Like tanks with a Raven or tanks into 3 racks bio are good for defense and good for offense. You just need to determine. So the other options. What are the other options? Stargate. So Stargate. No, okay. Yeah, that's not it. Stargate is a little different because there are power spikes in every build, right? Actually, no. A better way to represent a power spike is like this. Because obviously you get stronger over time. But for a Protoss, this is Blink. And then this is maybe Splash or 1/1. And then this is more splash damage up here. But we're worried about this part. And then for a Terran, it can either be like that, or it can be, you know what, we'll build 2 here. You can essentially have this, or you can kind of have something like that. That's not a good example. It's not as strong, but it hits way earlier. I'm trying to graph this out. All right, this is very, very technical here. So this is like a quick 1/1/1. This is like your 1 tank, 8 Marines Liberator or Hellions or stuff like that. And then, and this power spike is like a stim tank push. So the idea is what we're trying to do, and once again, we're assuming we're relatively high diamond or masters. The orange and red, I'm just using one of the most common builds, which is Blink into Splash or 1/1, which are both similar but not the same. So it's on you to determine, do I need to pressure early? Because if you pressure too early and they just have like Blink Stalkers against a quick 1/1/1, gonna get smashed. But if they're going, like if you play defensive, you block the Blink Stalkers, there's probably gonna be a timing where you can tank push before either splash damage or before an overwhelming amount of 1/1 and charge line. So what happens here? And we're gonna pretend like you've been diamond for a while. So we're pretending like you have any idea what's happening and not losing your SCV to the first probe. Unfortunately, well, that was fortuitous. The Protoss is definitely doing the thumbs up here.
Ready?
APM over WPM. You get like 2 messages. You definitely don't have enough APM to be having a friendly conversation. In fact, I'd be surprised if you can have any conversation at all. You saw the probe, right? Is this like a fucking cloaked probe? Is that why you didn't see it before? Alright, there you go. You got the same goddamn problem as the platinum guy. That is not a good sign, by the way. So you're gonna build a reactor on this barracks? Are you? You're like, well, I gotta build my factory first. Why? You just sat there. Like, if you don't go gas first, then let's just look at the gas. Just look at the gas.
The Grim Reaper has arrived. SCV ready.
And it matters. Like, you can definitely nail this timing. You're 34 gas. That's another 5-6 seconds. Those add up. SCV builds in 12. So if you're going to do this, might as well go gas first. If you're not going to build any extra Marines.
SCV ready.
Did you not? I'm sorry, wait. Did the fucking probe cloak? Am I a crazy person? These cloak probes. Are you, what? Like, it moved. Yeah. It did. An advanced tactic. Like, yeah, that's the probe is. What do you expect? Like, what's worst case scenario? He's cannon rushing you? He can't even build a pylon in the cannon. I know, probes are very scary. Alright? Probe came to my house and killed my dog, alright? Back in the day. But there is not enough time for that probe to even start a cannon rush. I like how, like, you just thought the Reaper got it. Fucking disaster.
They're bashing the SCVs.
SCV ready.
Yep, still there. So he's doing blank, so that graph was perfect. I feel like, did the graph make sense? Because I feel like I really gotta break it down. And I feel like I didn't quite nail it on that. It was pretty fucking confusing. I'm still not sure what I was trying to say exactly. I hope it made some sense.
SCV ready.
Alright, so he's going blink, which is exactly as described in the graph.
SCV ready.
So there's an opportunity for a teaching moment here, which is
SCV ready.
incredibly rare at this level. Like a direct teaching moment, as opposed to like, oh, you should spend your money. Which is also true, you should spend your money. Oh wait, but there's a unit, Winter, did you consider there's a unit at my base and therefore everything must stop? This is literally the worst. You picked the worst possible timing to salvage. I'm sorry, did you need the minerals, my friend? Like, were you broke and you really just needed those minerals? This is the worst possible time. Remember, 4:30 warp gate. How close was I on that? Oh, it's quicker than 4:30. It was way quicker. Was he chrono boosting the shit out of it? Oh my god, way quicker. Well, in my defense, he chrono boosted a bit, and he didn't. And he went Cybercore before Nexus. But yeah, I was way off. It was like 4 minutes. The Nexus timing was still on point. Actually, this is a straight one base blink all in. Wait a second. He didn't have a goddamn Nexus. You should be in no way salvaging. You should be building more bunkers. The exact opposite. He didn't even have an expansion. You have an orbital done. Like, he can't. Somehow, Protoss technology hasn't found the advanced techniques used to fly a building. You have to just slap it down right there. So best case scenario, like, you're a full expansion ahead.
SCV ready.
So, thus bringing me back to my original point, that Terran players shouldn't even make Reapers because they don't know what they're looking at, and they're just fucking up their build in the process. They should make Reapers and then kill them with SCVs. So that way, 1, the build is on point, and you don't have to find a new non-Reaper build, but 2, you don't get distracted. That's even better. Alright? Here's my suggestion. All you Platinum and Diamond Terrans, you build a Reaper, you scout your base, you bring it back, you let the SCVs kill it. And then you go about your goddamn business, because it'll probably help you more.
SCV ready.
Literally the worst possible time. Like, we could end this replay right here. Besides the fact you aren't building a tank, and you only have one Banshee, and you don't have... Like, the build is a disaster. And it's almost entirely because you built a Reaper. The Reaper is the reason your build is like a preschooler's finger painting right now. It's like, oh, and this over here is barracks. Look at the lights. It's like, oh, okay. But where's the tech lab? When's snack time? I don't know. I don't think the Reaper is the issue. There's actually a proxy. Where? If you don't think the Reaper is the issue, well, this is worse than I thought. Because... Oh, but he has a probe. He's gonna build a pylon eventually. None of this would be an issue if you actually built the units and stopped deleting the things that kept you alive. That probe, keep going. I don't need to keep going. The point is that none of this would be a goddamn issue if you hadn't fucked yourself over in the first place. You're tripping over your own shoelaces and being like, well, if I had worn Velcro, it's like, well, maybe that would have solved the problem. But the reason you're on the floor right now is you didn't see the massive little, like, the 2-inch high hurdle in front of you, and that 2-inch high hurdle is the Reaper. He proxied at his natural. Like, what is the point of building a Reaper if, one, you can't even find a probe in your base? You scouted, he had 1 base, you have 2. You did not build... How long has there been a tech lab slapped onto this impotent factory here? Alright, let's see. Oh, well, it's here. And then you're like, I have less bases than him. What am I gonna do? Fuck it. Uninstall that add-on. We don't need it. Alright. This is like... Right now, your build is like LimeWire. LimeWire, which is like having unprotected sex with the internet. And right now, you're about to get fucked. Because you're not building a goddamn... Like, what could you build? A cloaked banshee? Does that kill stalkers? I don't... He is on 1 base. You're microing this Reaper. Unfortunately, you're obviously the one blinking because you didn't see anything. He has 1 base. Like, everything... Don't tell me about any proxies. The proxy should have just secured your victory, not given... How long is this game? Are you fucking kidding me? Welcome to Diamond. So the Protoss is about to get a game-winning advantage. The Protoss is about to kill 47,000 SCVs. It's going to kill like 28 SCVs. But he only has 24 probes because he's doing a 1-base blink all-in like an idiot. It's not even good. A 1-base blink all-in is like 20 seconds faster than a 2-base blink all-in with 15 less workers. That's it. That's the difference.
The enemy's after you.
What is this? Now is not the time to go to the gym and do some fucking CrossFit push-ups over here. Sit the fuck down and listen. Get out of here. Stop talking in the chat. I forgot hotkeys for production. What the fuck is this? The Diamond League Participation Award? This isn't Pee Wee baseball right now. How do you just forget hotkeys? You forgot a probe in your base. You forgot a probe in your base. You salvaged a bunker when half a dozen stalkers were walking up your door. Yeah, you scouted with a Reaper and didn't see anything. And somehow now, you can't tell where to put your add-ons. Like, can I borrow some of the extra chromosomes right now? Because it is... The supplies are somehow even, but... Like, you're gonna get cloaked for your 1 banshee?
You are now in my service.
Okay, so there's this great unit. Repeat after me. Siege tank.
Research is wrapped up.
If you had 1 siege tank, that would have solved all of your problems. But unfortunately, throughout this entire time, you have not had the money nor the supply for a tank. So therefore, I forgive you.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
You know what's more important than building a siege tank? That was sarcastic. In case some of you are literally blind, he's had 520 free supply for the last 3 minutes. But you know what's important is microing a goddamn cloak banshee against blink stalkers. Okay? This... No, shut up, song. This is why you're diamond. Alright, because what I assume is going to happen... what I assume is going to happen is he got lucky. He's going to get lucky repeatedly because you're going to give him every wide opening that you could possibly get. Because you're very slowly tripping and picking yourself up and wiping the mud off and all that. You're eventually going to make it to the army you're supposed to have. Whereas he is going to continually keep punching you in the face over and over, but he's not going to know how to knock you out because he looks like a platinum player who got really good at Blink. That's about it. And this is the Diamond Crossroads, where if you come to me and you're like, when you came in, like, at first I was like, and then you're like, well, but wait, Winter, there's a proxy. And that's when I lost all hope. Because the proxy, this is not a proxy. He hasn't put any units here. He walked up the goddamn ramp like a normal person. He walked all the way across his little stalker pony legs, and came up, and you're like, you know what? Fair's fair. Let me salvage this bunker. And that's when I lost hope. Because not only have you actively avoided using critical thinking, have you not made, like, some players, like, there's just a blank. It's like, what am I seeing? I don't know. You, on the other hand, what am I seeing? Something completely different than I should be. So you're actively going out of your way to think the wrong things, and that's way harder to fix. Everything is like, don't give me that shit. Everyone's laughing. Alright? Everyone's laughing. They're laughing at me. Okay. Let us dispel with the rumor you didn't mean the things you said. For about 3 minutes of this game, you came in here ready to defend yourself, looking for some basic tips. But now, we're going to retreat to self-effacing bullshit, because that's all we have left.
SCV ready.
I wonder where he got all these stalkers from. And now we're inspired to build a tank. I'm not sure why you thought you could get away with 3 command centers. Don't worry. Now you don't have 3 command centers. You have 1 tank, and that's all it took. 1 tank. Ta-da! He's gone. Little late. You could have literally built... Okay, I'm going back. Might be like, Winter, you pause these replays too much. Don't worry, we're going to rewind. So that way, if you're annoyed by that, we're just going to continue down that road. I'm going to count. When does the factory with a tech lab finish?
SCV ready.
It finishes at let's say 4:15. Alright? And how long does a siege tank take? 32 seconds. So 2 tanks a minute. When does the first tank get produced?
SCV ready.
They're bashing the SCVs. Things are getting rowdy.
And there's plenty of money and supply for it the whole time.
SCV ready.
You pretty little animal.
6 minutes and we'll say 45. So 2 and a half minutes. What is better? We're just going to do a thought experiment. 0 tanks or 4 tanks? Just food for thought. And StarCraft is a relatively simple game. It might not seem like it. Every game is just pressing buttons and clicking the mouse, right? Besides Rock. Well, you get the idea. If you had just built tanks, I'm reasonably confident you just win the game at like 8 minutes. Remember the power spikes? Remember the part with the tanks? Remember the blink? But you just did it. And this is one of the big issues with Diamond. All races. They're usually people who send replays into me especially, pretty good about the general, like, if there's 7 things they need to do, they hit 4 or maybe even a perfect 5 of them. But there are 2 or 3 things that they just fucking forgot. And it's either because you only play 3 games a week and you think that's enough, or you've created so many bad habits in the Silver League, it doesn't matter. But there are 2 or 3 things that pretty much every single Diamond League, whether it's upgrades, or literally just building tanks, or building workers, or just building liberators or things like that, that they just don't do. Like, I don't... So thankfully, since he built a bunch of Blink Stalkers, which are terrible if you have any units, especially tanks, and you built any... So what you've decided here, this is very kind of you. You've decided to, instead of bringing your whole army in a safe way where you can react to what your opponent is doing, you're going to lift it up into 2 medevacs and pray you don't fly over any stalkers. Well done. What could go wrong?
Let's have a blast.
So let's think about this. You have beaten them back. You finally held on because you build units that don't suck. So what you're going to do is take that larger army, you're going to slice it up, slice off the extraneous, like all that extra stuff. You're going to put in a little bite-sized medevacs. You're going to fly it directly into his base, and you're going to hope for the best. Okay.
SCV ready.
The point is not how this goes. The point here is if you just want to fight, you might feel like you're losing the game because every Terran loads in against Protoss and they feel like they're losing the game. You whittle down your army and put it in essentially what is a gamble. There's no prep here. You didn't scan ahead. You got fucking lucky. He had an observer, but he didn't have the warpins in time on a super pylon. But you got lucky that he didn't scout it. It might do some damage then. But why are you gambling? This isn't Underlords. In fact, there's not even any Overlords. Why gamble? Worst case scenario, like, what did he have? He had Stalkers. Go fucking walk up and kick their teeth in. You got Marines and Marauders. The only way the Stalkers are going to be useful, his entire army was shitty, fragile Stalkers. Why not just go beat his face in? Like, why do you have to go to the main? Just find out where his army is and grind it into little tiny Stalker pieces. It's like, no, but if I hit the main, he won't have production. Yeah, you won't have 2 medevacs of units, one way or another. It's very unlikely 2 medevacs of units are going to end it if they're trapped in the main. Yeah, this is what I'm saying by the Diamond League problems. There are those who draw a blank, like they have a gap in their play and they just don't know how to fill it. That's easy enough. You, on the other hand, have replaced that like critical thinking of I just want to fight against shitty units with the classic Silver League instinct of it's far too scary to just walk. Can you show your whole shirt? Yes. Do you want me to take it off and from Carbot Animations on TeePublic. But yeah.
That's all the minerals you get.
This is very lucky. That 20 supply should have been as good as dead as he loaded up and went to the main. It easily could have been, but there was no reason it should have been.
SCV ready.
Ready for dust off.
So we're going to use the walk up and attack strat. I did notice Storm in production. You might have noticed a Templar if you were using your eyes, which I'm not confident in. Why are you building a Raven? Oh yes, you gotta free up supply by shooting your own medevac in the fucking face. This summarizes your build.
Ready for dust off.
SCV ready.
Command center upgrade complete.
Huh. I wonder where his army is.
SCV ready.
Could it be at the 3rd? Or maybe in the main? I don't know. Fuck it.
It's all gone.
Let's just go. That's nice grill bow snipe.
There ain't no minerals left in that.
Now, I'm sorry. I apologize. You don't know there's a third. So...
Let's have a blast.
Where is his army? Ah, there it is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How did this happen? How did we get here? That's a nice anti-armor missile. But anti-armor missile don't do damage. Storm does damage. Huh. If only there was some way we could have avoided being backed into a corner, but I can't see any way that could have happened. That was actually a great anti-armor missile. As you can tell, nobody actually builds anything during this. Have I mentioned Liberators before? I might not have talked about Liberators. But, so, Liberators are a unit that exists. The mules are stuck behind the mineral patch. They need to fix that bug, by the way. There's a mineral patch that mules can get stuck behind. I'd be like, that's why I lost the game. Get the fuck out of here. Why do you kill them? What does it matter? Miscreants. I don't know. You don't get them back. I don't know.
SCV ready.
You took time out of your day.
Dried up.
This better be good.
Okay, there shouldn't be a scenario where you're building a fusion core before the Liberators. Unfortunately, this has all the hallmarks of like a full diamond Terran. You are one of the most diamond Terrans I have ever seen. When it comes down to the pretending like you have a build and then just forgetting key parts of it, the just freaking out because Protoss exists, the dropping for no discernible reason, the having a mental breakdown and just attacking into splash damage because you don't know what else to do. Like, this is some of the like, the eventually getting all the upgrades and units you need, but not before losing all the other units you have.
Upgrades all set. SCV upgrade complete.
SCV ready.
Pretty little add-ons ready.
So despite this, like, he's just relying on the power of Protoss, really. Like, he's forgot. I don't even think he has any upgrades. He's at 0-0. Like, all you need to do is build a handful of Liberators and not lose everything to, like, 2 storms. Doesn't matter how many men die. Did you cancel? Okay, you got it. Doesn't matter how many men die. It's about if you have enough men to replace them. Not as much of an issue if you have Liberators. Because Liberators, the pilots are women. And they don't just die super easily in a macho stim stutter step fight like the dumbass Marines and Marauders, especially yours.
Get your paws on the supply depot. Ain't no minerals left.
0-0 at 17 minutes. I play Gold Leaguers with better planning. Yes, you do. Unfortunately for both yourself and also those Gold Leaguers, no plan survives 30 seconds at that league, and you're way shittier than you think you are.
Build some old food off. That's all the minerals we're getting out of that. Victory. It looks
So
good,
eventually,
kid.
you got the right units and killed him. You really tried your best to let him kill you, though. You really tried. But, like, deep down, you know how to win. But you're doing a great job of self-sabotage. You might be like, but he had a proxy in Blink. I don't even think he warped in a goddamn unit at that proxy. I'm pretty sure, like, not even a single stalker. He just kind of built a random pylon and no upgrades. So, I don't know what level was that. Diamond 2, Diamond 3. Because it's gonna adjust a little. Something like that. But, I only send you the Diamond 2. It's a C+. Because eventually, like, you got Liberator range, you got 3-3. Some games will last long enough that you'll, accidentally win. So, and then you'll face those advanced platinum players. Like that guy, that Protoss was advanced platinum. He's like, well, so far every Terran player's had a mental breakdown when any units show up. So if I just build a bunch of stalkers and then storm, they won't actually build that much. But we got one more from J-Boy, who thinks he's good enough for casting, but probably just wins the game and wants to be casted, so we won't do that. It's a Diamond Zerg. I'm waiting for the sublime lines. Not a single Terran. Strength and honor. Zug zug. As it goes. Okay, so we blocked the base for a bit, but taking the third. Okay. Don't freak out just because your opponent has a probe near your base. I know it's very scary. He built a forge. That's good for you. That means he built a forge. Doesn't do anything. Because you can build... Why? Why not? Why not? Let me propose an alternative option. Here. You may have seen this base before. I suggest it.
Queen birth successful.
Oh, okay. There you go. So far, so okay. When you see the forge, you pretty much know. You can see if it's upgrading by just simply looking to see if it lights up. This is a good scout. This is when you just... Okay, that's a little heavy on the Ovis, but... Overall, no reason you can't just build. This fucking guy. Oh. I mean, that's fine. He just spent 400 minerals on that.
Swarm forces under attack.
Oh no. Are you gonna try to micro? I mean, it's fine. Whatever.
You are now
well handled.
Service.
Now there's no way he's
Almost
getting a
at the
third.
big 4 year.
Swarm forces
I
under
don't know.
attack.
I like that gets A minus. A minus early game. This is, you didn't panic. You took advantage of the fact he has a forge and no reason for it, like a Stargate. Solid early game. Like, built some queens, got some creep spread, didn't freak out. It's the biggest part.
Forces under attack. Newly birthed queen.
The drone count is near 50. So the big trap you can fall into now is feeling like, alright, I've got enough drones. Move on with my life.
Swarm forces under attack. Not enough.
The appropriate amount of scouting. Not like staring at the OV, but like, okay, he's going Stargate. File that away, we're good to go. Now he's going Robo Bay, which could create issues, but...
Swarm forces under attack.
Like the right amount of scouting here. Fourth. Okay. Alright. So, double Robo Bay. This is an actual Colossus, or potentially Disruptor, but it's Colossus here. You don't know for sure, but it's probably Colossus. This is the time for Spire. Maybe Infestation Pit, but now this is the moment.
Mineral field exhausted. Command.
This is like the greediest Terran. Oh my god, this guy. What a dick. No, not. Oh, there you go. Alright. You probably want a roach warren. You need roaches. Oh. Okay. You know what?
Swarm forces under attack. Sequences spun.
So the danger is going to like 80 drones and pulling a full Scarlet, which is You're safe. You're at 70 drones. Good. What about 87 drones? No! Stop! Stop it! And then dying because they eventually built units. This is pushing it. Like 5 bases and 76 drones is pushing it. It's not bad, but it is definitely... Are you gonna goop the Robo Bay? Yes, cool. But now you have 1,000 minerals because you're like... We both know you were doing that. Alright. Maybe try mining the gas, by the way. Stop. Okay, that's too many drones. Congratulations, you got me to say it. That is too many drones. 80 drones is too many. This is a 70-75 drone. Roach Hydra Corruptor is like 70-75 drones. Because you need to have enough army, because you're going to lose a whole lot of units. You are not going to be cost effective, but you're going to win the war of attrition. If your army is too small, he's going to reach a critical mass and just destroy you. Alright. The answer, by the way, at this point, when he has a 4th and a bunch of cannons, is Broodlords. It is time for Broodlords. In fact, it's already a little late for them to go for Broods, but you can maybe smash. You can maybe smash. 80 workers is too much. But, this is good. This is good. It's a tank. I don't mind. Until... like... You're not overdoing it. You kind of forgot the key part of the army, which was the Corruptors. So, like, Okay. The hive should have started. That's the big one. Like, the hive should have started by now. Is it done? No. The hive really should have started by now. If you had done all that and gotten a hive, that's a straight A. But without the hive, it's like A minus B plus. You really need, and also because the Corruptors came in fashionably late, you may have won the game if the Corruptors were with the army during the attack. You didn't start the... Okay, here's what you've done. You've covered your goddamn lair with so many overlords, it looks like a hive. I'm pretty sure, because I, for a split second, looked at that, and I'm not playing. I'm pretty sure there are so many overlords, you can't tell that that is not a hive. And that's gonna hurt. There you go. Alright, I think that might have happened the first time, but... There's no reason you can't keep playing the 300 supply here. Banelings are a little risky because they're gas, but like, you got 75 drones. You gotta keep them off. You know, already it's an A. It's a depending on... It would take a dramatic, like, I mean, A minus, but like, it would take a dramatic, I don't know, mishandling from this point to drop it from an A.
Swarm forces under attack.
I don't put it past, but like, it would be tough.
Swarm forces under
Because
attack.
up at like,
Fields
most
depleted.
games don't get here because either the Zerg has killed themselves with storm or splash damage, or won the game by now. Especially at this level. You know what I'm talking about, Zergs. You gotta be very careful about going too heavy on the Corruptors. Because you don't... Okay, of all the places to build Broodlords, that is one of the worst... It was all coming together. But you've started taking steps downwards. Like, of all the places... Like, that was the only place you could have built Broodlords on your side of the map. That you wouldn't just win the game. So, here is a key point. And this is... Okay, this takes it away from being an A. Here's what I want you guys to do. All you Zergs, from high bronze to low plat, all the way through Masters. Masters players do it too. I want you to imagine a Broodlord army. And now I know. Right? But now I want you to imagine if every fucking time you didn't lose your whole army 30 seconds before the Broodlords. I know, it seems like a dream. But I believe in you. Like, if you could just not lose every single ground unit 30 seconds before Broodlords. How good would that be? Pretty good. Literally 30 seconds every goddamn time. Like, you waited until the Greater Spire started, and then took that time to throw away your goddamn units.
Direct assault.
If you had attacked right after, like well before you started the Greater Spire, fine. But attacking halfway into a Greater Spire is...
Cluster expanded.
I mean, it's not great. What are Infestors gonna do here? Oh my god, he's out of... No, ADS Stalkers. And now you're left with this situation. You got more Corruptors than Congress. You got barely any units to deal with, but you've invested so much gas into this Broodlord tech, which only takes... It doesn't take much. It takes like 40 supply of Roach Hydra. And you're good. But if you don't have that, then suddenly you're in this awkward situation where a dozen Stalkers and a dozen Zealots are killing everything.
Geyser exhausted.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Every time somebody... Now, getting to the Greater Spire is an achievement for many players. But once that Greater Spire starts, you are no longer allowed to attack unless you're guaranteed to win the game right now. Okay? Greater Spire equals defense. We're now playing like King of the Hill. And that Greater Spire is your hill, and everything else is not the hill. Alright? Well, you can defend around it. But your creep is the hill, the Greater Spire is the middle, the king, and everything else, it's lava. Alright? It's lava. No, don't touch the lava.
Swarm has Queen birth.
What if I'm maxed with roaches? Do I just kill my own roaches? Yeah, you were maxed. Throw 20 roaches at a base that's furthest away from you. Like, if his army's at his 4th, throw it to the 3rd. Like, anything that'll buy it a little bit longer. But, you don't... There's the option... There needs to be a middle ground between losing 100 supply of Roach Hydra and losing nothing. Like, you gotta find that middle ground instead of either losing everything or nothing. Like, 20 roaches, sort of, whatever. Okay.
Swarm forces under attack.
So, you got one Broodlord. Okay. You got one Broodlord. Broodlords are like MOBA players. Alright? If you have one, it can be really good, but it's probably not going to be able to win you the game. 2 is okay, but you need at least 5 usually. No matter how good your items are. Jesus Christ. All you need to do is before, you know what? 10 Broodlords. Here. Unless you're literally dying. If you're on his side of the map, and you're attacking with 1 Broodlord, rethink your life.
Swarm forces under attack. Mutation. Mineral field.
10 Broodlords. 10 Broodlords. Not 3, not 1, not 4.
Swarm forces under attack.
10 Broodlords.
Vespine
Unless they have an air army, in which case maybe 4 or 5. But that is not an air army.
Geyser exhausted.
I got enough Corruptors anyways.
Swarm forces under
Okay, well, now he has an air army because we've given him 3 years to do this.
exhausted.
No. Oh, it's all coming apart. The Zerg is like a symphony. It's like a symphony for kindergartners, but it's a symphony. There are a lot of moving parts, and they all got to come together somewhere close to the right time. So right now, I'm just gonna YouTube this. I just want to figure out what I'm gonna get. All right, we're gonna search grade school recorder concert. I'm sure some enterprising middle-aged mother has recorded this. Yeah, 30 minutes. And they're using their names. Please don't use your kids' names on YouTube when they're in 3rd grade. God damn it. All right. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, Connor's. This is just Connor's. You think Connor's nailing it? All right, Connor, are you nailing it? Oh, they're dancing. This video has 700 views, 0 likes, and 2 oh my god. 2 dislikes. Who dislikes this? Not even the uploader liked it. Oh, wow, Mom. That's rough. That's very sad. Oh, did you win the fight? Congratulations. I'm gonna give it a like. No, if I give it a like, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of these suggestions. Looks like it came together. Yeah, Mom and Dad were like, look, Connor, 2 dislikes, no likes. You gotta step that shit up. How you gonna be on Carnegie Hall at the age 16 if you can't even get any likes on YouTube? All right. So anyways, so essentially, you don't need to bring it together perfectly. But you gotta at least pretend to. Like, if the Broodlords are behind the Corruptors, then, like, this would have ended a long time ago. Or if anything was under the Broodlords. But eventually, we got to closer to 10. Like, the early game was good, and like many Zergs, you just decided to get suicidal without mainlings in the mid to late game, because Protoss is scary, but thankfully you were too big to fail. And that's still an A-, because most games will end at that 200 supply. Just getting there in such a timely manner will usually be better than worrying too much about the late game. So, that summarizes. We actually just did 3 in a row, so let me, if you haven't yet, we're just gonna, if you don't know about, you're like, what is he doing? What is he doing comparing these to 3rd grade recorders? That was at least a 4th grade recorder performance. Well, just a quick ad to wrap things up for this Angry Coach. A couple Terrans, a Zerg. You can barely tell the difference. But thank you guys for watching. You can pause the ad block. I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Angry Coach is where you can send in your replays to Winter's stream, and he will look at them because you give him money. That's a very important part. If you don't give him money, he will probably not look at your replays because impending depression. So, but do you want to see more of Angry Coach? Do you want to see more players who have hope or don't? Well, smash that like button. Subscribe with all the things on all the places. Everywhere has a bell you can ring to go along with that recorder concert or this copyright-free vlog music. So you can get notified of the videos. I'm going to spoil it. There's a video every goddamn day. And you might be like, how do I have time to watch all that? Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it? Quantity over quality, everyone. So hopefully you find this quality enough to smash that like button. Maybe you send a replay into Angry Coach, but hopefully not. And thank you for watching. Now back to your originally scheduled programming. Thank you.